Hi guys, welcome back to another Daily Tarot card. These are your Daily Tarot cards for Monday, April the 24th, 2023. Today we're pulling from the Deviant Moon Tarot cards. So we're starting off with the world, and I feel like, a positive shift. We think of the world, we think ending because it's the last tarot card, but I think of the world as that sphere. I feel like it's like the phases of the moon. As we leave one phase of the moon where it's a brand new chapter for a brand new beginning. Springtime, rebirth. With the world card, we talk about positive, new change. They're showing the word renewal, where it's just like you go from a committed relationship to engagement, a promise of marriage, these verbal contractual agreements. And then we go get married and we sign a certificate saying that we are legally binded in marriage, so that commitment. We always are told during retrograde not to sign contracts, not to do certain things, right? But like that's what I was worried about with my mom, with her whole new journey in her life, where we were doing a move on the day that retrograde started. And I was really wary. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope everything works out. So I've been praying and everything, and I'm like, put everything in place. I was like, call them beforehand just to make sure everything was good. And it worked out great. We've used this company many times. I think she's used them twice now, and I've used them twice. Always highly reputable. They vet the people they use. They got really good, heads on their shoulders. Very respectable and everything. So I will always recommend them. Very good team, but. I was wary of that, and I was just like, I was worried because the stairs are narrow and stuff like that. Nope, they were ballers, man. I could not believe it. Very thankful that it turned out that way. But I feel like, as this whole transition happened, I know it was a tower moment. I know it was it was definitely a retrograde for our family, but with determination and dedication, me and my sister were able to take care of both sides of things. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about our family. Whatever it is, it's like we're able to put our heads together and figure out a solution. And we did just that. And I'm very thankful that we had help from some of her friends. Literally, she was on the phone with her friend telling her about the same apartment I sent her the link to. You know what I mean? So it's just like sometimes, not sometimes. I always. I will not say sometimes. For me, and this is not a preachy thing. This is not saying you have to follow what I follow. It's just every single moment of my life, it's good, bad, the ugly, whatever it is, I'm always thankful to the universe. I wake up and I say good morning to the Lord. I'm like, thank you, Yahweh Yeshua, for another blessed day. Every day and every way my life continues to get better, even if it's minor, minuscule, whatever it is. And I feel like that's what the world energy is. I feel like, because retrograde gets this bad rep. Definitely today I was having some shadow thoughts. It could have been from a lack of sleep because, the last 7 weeks has just been, especially the last 2 because, it's getting closer and closer to everything. It was just lack of sleep. So can't keep a thought straight. So I'm trying a new supplement here to see if it'll help with that. I've heard some really great things about it, so we'll see what happens. I may document it and then post it. It's just I'm not getting paid to do this. It came across in my life, and I'm like, okay, let's try it and see how it works. So, and again, it's not paid. I'm not doing it because it's the fun new fad to do. I feel like the benefits are amazing, and if I like it, I'm gonna definitely share it with my mom. We have the Two of Wands here, and if you look at the cards, there's a lot of duality as we move forward from the world card. That's why I feel like this new phase, you know what I mean? I feel like they're showing me a new moon, and we definitely were in the new moon. Now we're at the sickle, the crescent. We're at a new moon now. And I feel like a lot of duality is coming in here, with the moon, with the sun. And then we have between the King of Cups. I was like, is this highlighting 2 individuals in our life? And I definitely feel like that. And you know what I mean? They're facing each other. So it's is this people coming together? But I feel like it's a choice between 2 because they're definitely polar opposites of each other. You know, when with the Two of Wands, this is good positive confirmation if you are like wanting to plant garlic this year. I definitely feel like we're making holes in the ground to plant seedlings. But then they were saying like planting seedlings for the future for yourself. I feel like you're starting something new here, and definitely like they were saying the word renewal. So they're like what ideas do you have? With myself, I know for a fact it's just like things have been put off because of everything that has been happening because that took precedent, with me, because it's just like, and my sister, it's just like because we've been in situations where we had to do it ourselves, and the thing about us is like we never want to make anyone ever feel that way. And I was just like, and I messaged her, I'm like, I need your help. I'm like, this is what's going down. I need you to do this and I'll take care of that. And she's like, got it. And she did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like a pro. She's like, boom. And she was just like, boom, boom, boom. She got it done. Like, effortlessly, she got it done. And I was like, thank you. So I'm just grateful. She came down and everything like that. So it's just not came down. She came up. We will go down to see her. But it's just like, you know what I mean? That's what I love about us. And I feel like that's what's important. It's like who freaking shows up for you when you really need them. You know what I mean? And like we were talking about that today. My mom was like, oh, she's like, you had to do this by yourself when Shane passed away. I'm like, but you know what? Honest to God. And that's why it's just like, I will never take credit away from Yahweh and Yeshua, because every chapter and like, I feel like I've lived so much life in my young life. You know what I mean? Sometimes I say that and maybe some people may not, like, 42 is not young, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, I became a widow at 36, and I feel like it's just like, I have a new whole freaking respect for these women that freaking, and men, because, that's the way the world is, that like their partners, go put their lives on the line, and it's like, you don't know what you're going to see tomorrow. I thought, Shane was being pushed to become a police officer, and I'm like, literally a couple of weeks ago, this poor police officer was doing his job, and these reckless idiots sat there and ran him over with the freaking car and killed him. And he had 2 little ones, just like, me and Shane did. And I'm like, I don't want to have him just around for 10 years. I want to have him for the rest of my life, And I literally said that, and it was just like, that's exactly how long we were together. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what can you do? I thought office job would be safe. I'm just like, like there was some threats there because of the cut industry he's in, and they made like, changes and stuff like that. But, for the most part, I was just like, he's in a good spot. You know what I mean? It's like, it keeps his mind busy, you know what I mean? Because he's definitely a thinker, and I'm just like, it gives him those kind of challenges he loves, where it's just like, because he loved like crosswords and brain teasers and all that stuff. And I'm like, that will keep him thinking. Like, he loves to solve problems, and that's exactly what his job was. So I'm like, there's nothing he couldn't accomplish. He would sit there for hours and hours and hours just to figure it out. And I was just like in total awe of his genius, I'm just like, even with math, his college math, he showed me, he's like, look at this. And I was like, I almost cursed there. What in the frick is that? I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it was all letters. And I'm like, how in the hell are you supposed to figure that out? You know what I mean? But he did. He would stay up all night, killing himself with that and figured it out. Like, I still have his tests and stuff where, he got like 98 and stuff on that. I kept it for the kids. His school papers, his short stories, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So getting back to this decision here, sorry to ramble on, but getting back to this decision here, sowing seeds. So I feel like it's like, this is what I was talking about. There's things that I've been wanting to film, and I felt like hesitant because it's just like, I know I'm going to cry during, but I feel like, you know what I mean? A lot of us resonate more with someone that's pure and raw emotion and honest than a fake and phony. You know what I mean? I feel like when you've actually experienced things and talk from a place of truth, than just trying to sit there to make a video to get hits or to be popular or whatever. Like, you're doing it from a place of healing. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where your passion is. You know what I mean? Like, we were literally watching Mass, and it was just like, nobody lights a light to sit there and put it underneath the stool or put a bowl over the light. Meaning like, we don't sit there and, God didn't plant this light in you, Yahweh, Yeshua, universe, divine creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, whomever you believe in. It's like, you're a light in this world, And they didn't put that light in you just so you could sit there and hide under a bowl. They didn't put it so you could hide under a table. They want your light to shine, you know, and that's the thing. We're going to get a lot of tests and tribulations, trials and tribulations, especially comments, you know, on social media where it's like those little, you know, people will try to take you out. So it's like, I guess leave the comments on because, you know what I mean? Sometimes people don't, like with myself, I'm like, oh, what is supposed to be, what are you supposed to be going on here? You know what I mean? You read the comment, and then you get the comments, and then you get it. You're like, oh, okay, like, you know, that makes sense. You know what I mean? But then there's just like people that have nothing better to do with their time, you know? I have to look at his name. I always forget, but he's so spicy. He sat there and he's like, I finally started following him because, like, you know how like sometimes you follow people, like, you know, you love them and then you start following them and you're just like, it falls flat, like, because the spicy videos aren't in your For You page. But he will sit there and respond to comments, and he is so bad. He's just like, there's a couple of them. It's like, I looked at your page, and they'll start shot after, like, receipt after receipt after receipt. I'm like, I don't want to be that person. Oh my god. But I can't help but laugh at those videos because I'm just like, oh my gosh, if only. You know what I mean? It's like, if, like, wow. But anyway. But I feel like this is like an opportunity to sow seeds. And I know retrograde goes against that, but retrograde is a renewal. Like, it is an opportunity to relive things, you know what I mean? I was telling my mom about that. I'm like, it's a chance, like, you know, if we can live a moment, like, you know, and redo it over again, what would we do, you know? And that's like when she was talking about, like, you had to do this by yourself with 2 little kids. And I'm like, yeah, I know, Mom, but you know what? Like, it's like, it's 1 a.m. here now, but it's like the 22nd is someone's significant's birthday in my life. And his parents were there for me when this happened. They gave me like 2 days. They're like, we wanted to call you right away, but they're like, we just wanted to give you a couple days. And I'm like, no, it's fine. And then he's like, can I ask? And I'm like, for sure. And I told him what happened. But you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, he was just like, I would send you flowers. He goes, but in my opinion, he goes, I'd rather send you money to buy like food for you and the kids, like takeout food, so you can concentrate on what you need to concentrate on. I literally was eating like a packet of porridge at morning and night because my body was just like, I couldn't think straight. I had widow fog. I was in shock. I was just like, my nerves were shot. It was just, you know, the worst. But, you know, that's why I always give credit to Yahweh and Yeshua. And I share that. And I'm not saying, this is not a push to be like, follow what I do or do. I'm just saying, if you feel passionate about something or drawn to it, like, I appreciate the people that share like spells and like, you know, like money spells or manifestations and stuff like that. But it's like, if you try something and it doesn't work, that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong or that you don't have an ability or anything like that. It just doesn't resonate with you. You know what I mean? So with me, the Hebrew faith resonated with me because there's this one prayer, and the fact that we sing the prayers, I just love that because I love to sing. But the one thing that resonated with me is this one prayer that we played before the Kiddush on Shabbat, where they sit there to put the English subtitles, and I appreciate that so much, you know. But they were sitting there, and they're like, the best way to describe the way that Yahweh loves you is the way, but the love between the, like, basically that is what that hymn, that prayer is about, is speaking about the love that God has for you. And they're like, the best way to describe it is the love that a proper guardian, parent, whomever should have between a parent and a child. It's like, even though when they make mistakes, it's like you still love them, you're disappointed in them, but you still love the living crud out of them. You will do anything for them. But it's like in that moment in time, you're like, what the hell are you thinking? You know what I mean? It's like, you're mad, you're frustrated, like, you will get over it, but it's just like, you know, you're going to come to a place where you can both sit down and be like, what the F are you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, why would you even do that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, but that's the thing. They don't understand, like, sorry. You know what I mean? Some adults don't even understand that word. It's like, it's a word. Your actions speak louder than words. You know what I mean? We're going to get into some actions down here. You know what I mean? But that's why I'm drawn to it, because, and that's where I talk about, like, when I went through that journey with, after Shane passes, where I was on autopilot. I'm going to be 100%, you know? Why I called those places when I did. Why, like, you know, why I did the things that I did. It was just, that was like the Holy Spirit in me. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting there trying to start no religion or try to push people towards anything like that. Like, I'm on the spiritual side of things. I don't belong to no institution. You know what I mean? I'm not those person that's going to be like, you have to, give 35% of your paycheck every page. Like, who can afford 35% of a paycheck? Like, you're putting people in the poorhouse. Like, I literally knew someone stealing from their job to sit there and give 35% to their church because that's what they were told, so they would look a certain way. I'm like, that's not, you're sitting to, that's no. That's why literally Yahweh and Yeshua, Yeshua was throwing, money out of the synagogues and everything. You know what I mean? Like, no. Anyway. But those seedlings, you know what I mean? We're planting seedlings here, and I feel like this is a positive opportunity. I feel like some of you have never gardened before, so I feel like you're actually doing that. But I feel like some of you are being compelled to do something here. And I feel like it's like, if you feel passionate about it, like, that's what I'm saying. Some things we'll see on social media, it doesn't resonate. Some things will be really compelling to us. I'm like, I've been seeing, getting visions of stuff, and, then something came past my For You page, and I'm like, yep, definitely going to do that. You know what I mean? My time has been taken up. I don't even know how the heck I'm still standing. Well, I know how, Yahweh. But it's just like, I'm doing everything in my life. And yeah, some of it has been like, kind of put on the back burner a bit. But it's like, they understand why I'm doing it. I'm like, because what we went through, I would never wish on anyone, So he's like being so clingy right now. But I feel like with this moon card, I feel like they were really potent with the wolf, right? So if you think, like, if you go to January 1st, or January full moon is a wolf moon. They talk about establishing boundaries. Look it up. It's called the wolf moon, establishing boundaries. I think this one is the strawberry moon, if I'm not mistaken, or is that May? I don't know. But it's just, I haven't had time for anything lately because it's just been busy. But it's just like, when they talk about the wolf moon, they're like reestablishing boundaries. But again, I feel like this renewal, I feel like, they're saying like calling back in your tribe and stuff like that. That's what I don't know why this one is so different. It, like, this retrograde is really, like, especially if you've gone, like, that's what I was like, well, please God, let this retrograde, if you watch my forecasts and projections, they were showing the 5 of Cups. They were showing the 3 of Swords. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I can't handle no more. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I will fall on the floor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I emotionally cannot handle anymore. You know what I mean? It's been a lot. I'm grateful that you know what I mean? I've been living on my knees lately because I'm just like, that sounds so bad. But it's just like, I've been praying and thanking God because, like, you know what I mean? This situation could have turned out so bad. Like, really, really, really bad. You know what I mean? And it's just like, everything turned out so perfect. It was like one after another, after another, after another. And that's literally how everything fell apart. It's just like, it was a train reaction. This happened, then this happened, and then that. I was just like, oh my freaking gosh. You know what I mean? And it could all have been prevented. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, this is what's going to happen. And she's like, I'm like, why don't you just talk to them? She's like, no. She's very stubborn. You know what I mean? But it's just like exactly what I told her. She's like, you'll never guess what they told me today. I'm like, that's literally what I told you weeks ago, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, So it's just like messed up. But I feel like with the wolf moon, it's like reestablishing things. It's taking inventory. Like how they were saying with the death card, they were like, change and transformation. People, places, and things. Things no longer resonate with us. People no longer resonate with us. You know what I mean? And I feel like the biggest thing is people don't resonate with us anymore. And it's like, why are you, it's like kind of keeping it around. And this is not a slam on anyone. Don't take it that way. But it's just like with myself, I've had 2 of my own children. I've had 4 surrogate babies. I look at, my clothes that I used to wear when I was in my early 20s. I'm like, my hips have spread so wide, I will never fit in that again. You know what I mean? It's just like keeping that around is like insanity. It's like, let someone else, donate it to the food bank, and someone else could buy it for a fraction of what I paid for it, and they can enjoy that and breathe new life into it. You know what I mean? And look fabulous, So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's dumb. It's idiotic. You know what I mean? And I don't mean, I don't like those words, but it's just like, we know that it doesn't serve us. Like, even my yearbooks, like, honestly, I'm just like, why am I carrying these heavy ass books around? You know what I mean? I'm just like, isn't Facebook kind of like a yearbook? It's just like, the people that I love, they know I love them. You know what I mean? If I could freaking go to Toronto all the time, I would, and have a drink with them, like go there for the weekend, have a drink, and or have some food, kiki, and come home. You know what I mean? But it's just like, it's just like things. Even after Shane passed away, it's like things don't resonate with you no more. So I feel like this is what we're going through, is this positive purge. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought that I would say that with retrograde, but it's just like, if you've already gone through it, I pray to God that the rest is like, you know what I mean? Everything else is, but we all know how retrogrades work out. So I'm being positively optimistic, and I'm being very grateful and thankful and praying my butt off. And I feel bad because I'm like, God, I've asked you for so much, but I'm asking you for some more. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you don't ask, you don't receive. I literally pray. I'm not kidding you. I literally sat there. Because of the move, I got home and I only slept for a couple hours because I got off at 2. And then I was up, went over there, was helping out. That's what I mean. These guys are phenomenal. They were done at 1, and then I was just like, okay, hooked up all of our equipment and all that, and we left. So got home, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna nap, and then I'll get up and do Shabbat and Hems because I could only do Mass that morning. I stayed up and watched Mass, and then I went to sleep. I don't even know how many hours of sleep I got that night. But the thing is, it's just like I literally prayed for something, and they showed me the person and then all this, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And they said and I'm like, okay, cool. And I was just like, can you please open their heart and to have them to do that? And it happened today. I'm just like, what in the frig? You know what I mean? Like, wow. Just freaking awe. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like the power of prayer is really freaking strong. You know what I mean? But you do what resonates with you. Like, I'm not going to sit there and push that on anyone. I love the sun. I feel like dancing celebrations with the sun. They talk about success, but I just feel like everything, like, I feel like getting outside and being celebrating and being outside. I know a lot of you already have been outside, but our backyard still has snow. Cause I'm just like, oh, maybe the backyard's melted yet. No, look on the camera. I'm like, oh, phooey. Gotta wait some more before it melts more. But mine's always the last to melt. But it's just like, I get like celebrations, getting out there. I definitely feel June, July. I don't think the summer in our area, I'll just be quite frank, because, it's like you can't forecast everybody, but they're saying India is going to be hotter than ever before. Wow. Okay. It's like when I do my forecast, I'm like, where are these messages? But I know it's because I've been tired, but that's my fault. But I feel like celebrations, I don't feel like so much success. I feel like celebrations. I know we like with the boys of summer is what we call the 4 boys because their birthdays. I know Mike's is in the spring, but it's June. So June to me is summer. But we call them the boys of summer because all their birthdays are in the summer. But I feel like in that way, I just feel like celebrations, like living life. You know what I mean? Like that's what life is about, enjoying life. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. Here's where things get sticky. So this can either represent people that are coming into your life, people that are already a part of your life. I feel like it's between 2 individuals here. I feel like either someone's going to come, is this 2 different full moon cycles and we're continuing on. I feel like this is the same full moon, in my opinion, my honest opinion. And I feel like this is where either someone already present in your life, this could be a lover, or this could just be someone that's already in your life. So maybe a child or a parent or sibling, whatever this is. But I feel like in a lover situation, I feel like you have please forgive my words, a boring King of Cups in your life where it's like, I feel like you guys have been together so long, it's just like the passion is gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no time for like sex and all that stuff. So I feel like in that way, it's like, this 9 of Wands, and I'm not trying to give fire signs a bad rep here. I just feel like they're passionate. This person is very passionate, but they're like checked out. Like there's no connection here whatsoever. It's just like, you're just, they're like, you're just a hole. Oh my God. HOLE, not the other word, but it's like, there's no connection. It's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like they're saying if you would take that time that you're putting into this, 9 of Wands here and put it into the King of Cups, you know what I mean? The King of Cups is not romantic. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like he thinks like, you know what I mean? Like him just saying I love you is romantic. You know what I mean? But if those are the things you're looking for, you've got to tell the communication. What is retrograde all about? Communication. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, candlelight dinners, maybe role playing, pretend like you guys don't know each other and you meet each other in a shady bar or something like that. But there's a lack of communication. Oh, you don't do this for me. You don't do that for me. They're literally showing Vanderpump where Tom steps out on Adriana and he's with Raquel. Oh, well, you don't do this. And she doesn't want kids. She's, you know what I mean? This. It's like, why don't you articulate those things? I want kids. Like, she's been saying that for, like, they've been together so long. But if you look in the past, and I know it's reality TV, but I'm just saying this is what they're showing. It's like, he said yes, she said no. So maybe he thought she would change over time. You know what I mean? So they made embryos and all this stuff, or they're making embryos. So I guess his hesitation is like, oh, we'll never use them. So, what's the point? Or maybe he's like, maybe it's been a while. Maybe he was stepping on her since then. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like the episode I watched, he's just like this and this and this. And she's just like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like it's kind of like his soul telling her what's going down. You know what I mean? You lack these things, and I found it somewhere else. You know what I mean? But I feel like here, they're like, this Nine of Wands is going to be out. You know what I mean? You're putting all your eggs in this basket, and they're not even there. You know what I mean? They're not even checked in. They don't care. You know what I mean? It's just like, they can't wait to, leave. As soon as they get what they want, they're just like, you're talking, and they're just like, They're in their head singing a song, or, you know what I mean? They're looking at their phone. It's just, you could tell, they're not invested. No, there's a better word. They're not invested at all. They're just like, yeah. As soon as they get there, they're like, let's get this. That's the only time they hit you up is because, you're a good time, but that's about it. I'm getting pentacle energy with this. Maybe your ship's about to come in. We were getting that, but, I feel like it's just like the grass is greener where it, you know what I mean? And it's just like their love language is showing up for you. Like their hard work. It looks like because they go to work and, you know what I mean? They do other things and they're tired. So they don't have time to do those other things. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like they're so tired. Why don't you sit there and be like, tell the kids to go out for a movie or something like that and have a candlelight dinner together, or, go out to dinner. Maybe they're too tired. They don't like eating in public, something or like that, Public settings aren't for them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, they're saying rent a hotel room, you know what I mean? Make it mysterious or something like that. So, I don't know. It's just, I feel like this person is not there. You know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of like a robot, basically. There's nobody, there's no connection. There's a physical attraction, but that's about it. But they're saying because it's sneaky. You know what I mean? That's where the role play comes in. They're just like, because it's sneaky. That's why they're showing Snapchat, because the messages, I don't have it, so I don't know. But it's like the messages disappear, I guess, or I don't know. But it's just like, your partner's going to be very hurt about it, and you think they're going to stick around, and they won't. They're saying a hard life lesson. So, and when you go against, yourself in that kind of way, it's like you're making karmic debt, So they're saying it's time to pay the reaper in that way, where it's just like, I feel like it's like because we've gotten away with it for so long with other relationships, it's like, the definition of insanity, and it's like it gets sloppier and messier and dangerous as we go around, because it's like we're not even thinking about who we're going with now. It's just because the fact that they choose you. You know what I mean? Because there's no thought of how it affects others. And we were talking about that a couple weeks ago, even last week, where it's like, where I use my son as an example, where he's like, Mom, I could not sleep if there was someone strange in the house. And I'm like, that really resonated with me. And I'm like, okay. I listen to my kids when they speak, you know what I mean? And I was just looking for a roommate to help, pay the bills at a house, but it's just like, I listened to what he said, so it's just like, okay, I got to hustle and work 2 jobs, you know what I mean? So I don't have to be in that situation, so, that's where I was just like, things are going to get messy here. You know what I mean? So I feel like, especially the fact that they're showing the 5 of Cups, isolation, you know what I mean? They're showing the 5 of Pentacles. They were showing the 3 of Swords. You know what I mean? It's just like, be very careful, especially with this situation here. Because I definitely feel like this King of Cups does care. It's just they don't know how to show it. And I feel like they're so tired because there's they work and there's a honey to-do list. And it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, they're saying if you would go out and help them, Like, at least it wouldn't be so tedious. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, they go out to play the radio. They looks like they drink beer. You know what I mean? They're getting the things done. But at the same time, it's like if you helped out, it would go that much faster. You guys have an opportunity to connect with each other. It's like you're in the house watching TV or painting your nails or filing your nails or something like that. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you do a lot in the house, but it's just like it would go faster and they would have more time for you if you would help them out. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can we do this together? Or how can we make this go quicker? You know what I mean? Like, so they're not doing all the honey to do work and they're exhausted. It's just like if they ask, you know what I mean? You come home, you cook dinner, you did the laundry, homework, showers, and now you want to go to bed and they want, you know what I mean? They don't realize, like, if I do the dishes, that's one less thing on her. And if I ask her for boom boom, she won't be so exhausted, or they won't be so exhausted, because it's like, oh, you know what? Let's give her 15, 20 minutes to herself. I'll watch the kids, put them to bed, read the stories. You know what I mean? So that gives her 15, 20 minutes to herself, or their self, where they could woos out, and then, I can bug her for that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how can we show for each other? But in this situation, is they're showing that, the sexual chemistry isn't there. So you go outside seeking this, and this part, the one that you're seeking, ain't even there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you would monkey bar from relationship to relationship, and you ain't monkey barring with anyone. You're going to end up, like, with nothing. So be very cautious with this, I'm just, if I can sit there and say, like, watch out for this, you're going to make your own decision. But I feel like this one is definitely not going to turn out the way you thought it would. So just tread lightly. You know what I mean? Kind of, you got to think about why, you know what I mean? Maybe it's time for healing. Maybe it is time for you to be alone. You got to figure out, why do you go from one relationship to another, and it's they're saying one failed relationship to another. You know what I mean? It starts off great. You know what I mean? But it's like the way that we start it, it's like you're already in one relationship and starting another. You know what I mean? And the other one still thinks you're in a relation. You know what I mean? It's just very messy. So maybe we have to fix on what's going on the inside so it stops bleeding out on the outside. But you take what resonates and leave the rest for everybody else. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Monday, April the 24th, 2023. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card. Bye.